super excited. I am sitting down with Lesley Kelly. And first of all, I just want to congratulate you for being my first Canadian.
Yay! I'm going
That's
to say a boat and Tim Hortons a lot.
There we go. Perfect. That sounds really bad, but Lesley is from Canada, so I'm hoping to be able to talk to her a little bit today about her thoughts and experiences with farming in Canada, as well as a lot of other things. So, Lesley, if you could start us off by just telling us a little bit about yourself, so that whoever's watching or listening can maybe get to know you a little better.
Yeah, you betcha. I am a wife, a mother of two little boys, a farmer, a marketer by trade, and I farm with my mom and my dad and my brother and my husband up here in Saskatchewan. We are a grain farm. And then in my spare time, I am a co-founder of Do More Ag, where it is a not-for-profit organization that focuses on the mental health of all of our Canadian farmers. I'm on the board for Sask Wheat, and my husband and I, we love to travel and do things with our family. So you'll see me likely in the wintertime running to the hockey rink or running on country roads in the summer.
Awesome. Yeah. So you're a very busy woman. So I'm glad that I got to steal you away for a few minutes just to kind of chat through some stuff. But you mentioned that you kind of farm with your family. Growing up, was that something you kind of always knew you wanted to do, or how did you kind of end up where you're at today?
Yeah, no, I unfortunately I didn't have any aspirations of farming or even being involved in agriculture. I thought when I went to university that I didn't choose to go into an agriculture college because I thought that either meant I had to farm or become an agronomist. So I had sights on living in the big city and being involved in marketing. I wanted to work for a large ad agency, be the Donald Draper and the creative director. And that's what I did. Yeah. So I went to the College of Commerce in Saskatoon at the University of Saskatchewan. And when I graduated, I took a right-hand turn. So rather than go to the big city that I wanted to do, I met my husband when I was in university, and he wanted to farm. So I decided to venture into agriculture. I took my first job right out of school working for Cargill, and that kind of set my new direction, because what I found out is I got to meet and hear from different farmers, and I got farm versus going beyond my family farm. So what I loved most about that job, and that where I knew where I belonged, is hearing every farm and their story, and every farmer had an amazing story, and that really refueled my passion to be more involved in agriculture. Then what I did was afterwards, but I wasn't involved in marketing. I still really loved this marketing and creative spirit that I had. So my next job was where both of these worlds collided, agriculture and marketing. And I was agriculture marketing manager in Alberta. And then eventually my husband and I moved back to Saskatchewan. I still enjoyed my marketing career, but I left that about a year ago, and now we are full-time on the farm.
So with you kind of making now a transition, kind of, I don't want to say corporate world, but kind of a little bit back to the farm.
It was corporate world. Yep.
Yeah. How has that transition been for you?
It was really hard, at the start, or like when I left my job, I cried. I felt like, all my dreams and, the hard work that I put in for over 50 years I was leaving it behind. But what I realized was the things that I learned in my marketing career, my corporate job, working with a team, being a leader on a team, it really helped me carve my path or help the farm in other ways. Because here I thought, I'm not going to be, an equipment operator.
Right.
I'm just not good with running equipment. I'm on the Z team when they need backup. But here I have skills and experience in human resources. I have skills and experience in marketing. I have skills and experience with people and strategy. So that's where I've kind of fit or found my place on the farm. And it's, having everyone on the farm with different skills. My husband's more on the mechanics. My brother's more on, the inputs and the fertilizer and the marketing, and my dad as well, marketing too. So we kind of have our own little roles, and all coming together, it really works.
Right. The phrase "it takes a village," right? That's
It
definitely.
does. It does. And it takes the pressure off other people if they, like my husband just doesn't want to sit down and do the things that I might really enjoy doing. So it takes the pressure off of, with farming, where we have to be everything to everyone. So we found our groove and where we add our skills and our expertise.
Right. And you mentioned too, you kind of, when you were still working for some of those large companies, you got to listen to and talk to farmers and really understand their stories. How
Mhm.
has talking with those people maybe impacted how you guys do things or how you choose to share your story?
Yeah, it's being able to hear from farmers, meet different farmers, whether that's in different sectors or different areas of the world. It is a very humbling experience because you might not take everything that one farmer does and then go and apply it to your farm, but you can find little pieces. It's like, oh, well, that piece of equipment works well here. I wonder how that would work here. Or this farming practice, or what they do with their teams, what they do with their employees, how they celebrate. They're even on my end, like how meals are done. So I've taken little things from different farms, and then what we've done is, and we've talked about it on our farm, we try to do at least a few things different every year to try to be more efficient, be a better team, how to work together. So that has been a really great experience. I love hearing from farmers. The other thing that I've learned is that every farm is different, and with that comes an amazing amount of experience and humbleness and grace and patience and hard work and struggle. And we're all connected in agriculture through one of those areas. So just hearing people's stories has been one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even just kind of from my end, getting to talk to all of these very strong women in agriculture has been very refreshing and just a great
Mm.
reminder that um, even though your role may not look the same as somebody else's role, everybody is still important in their own kind of special way, I guess you could say.
Exactly. And even how to tie it back to consumers is every farm is different, and so are all the consumers. And it's so great to be able to supply all these choices and all these different products to people, because we're all different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually really glad you brought up consumers. That was going to be kind of my next segue. Working with consumers. So now you've created a blog and really kind of a brand for yourself with the High Heels and Canola Fields. So has that allowed you to really connect more to consumers now with that role?
Yeah, I started High Heels and Canola Fields when I was still in my marketing role. I was on mat leave with my second child, and I thought, I still want to, um, you know, keep on that creative spirit when
Right.
I was off work. And so I developed High Heels at Canola Fields because that at the time, Food Babe was going out with a whole bunch of myths, and Dr. Oz. And my farm, we actually created a snack food product when I was just recently out of university. And the snack food was barley grown on our farm, and it was in sweet and salty clusters. And we sold that in Western Canada. So I had the opportunity of being at trade shows and sharing this product. And then we were in downtown Vancouver, downtown, very urban demographic. And the
Right.
questions that I was getting back was, what does barley taste like, and does it taste like beer, and do you spray pesticides, do you spray chemicals? And what I found out is people were really interested to talk to a farmer, to know, like, hey, this is a product that you've started from start to finish. And then I also had uh, instances where people, when they found out we were one type of farm, they didn't want to talk to us. There was not even the notion of a conversation. It's, we were told that we were bad farmers. I was pregnant. I was told I was a bad mother. And so I took those to heart. And that's where I started High Heels and Canola Fields, with the goal of spreading my love of farming to those outside of agriculture. And it's really, really hard. So when I found out, when I started to write, that it was really hard to get into that same demographic, that downtown urban, unless I was physically there.
Right.
So it's taken a while, but now with a few viral posts, a few viral videos, I've been able to get past agriculture. But what I really love, and I know we talk about it's so hard to get outside of our bubble and we just talk amongst ourselves. Well, I also see that as a great opportunity too, because people in agriculture, we're so different across very large landscapes and land. And you know people that I don't know. So just by resharing, commenting, you're opening more, closing more doors or opening more doors and getting into to new audiences too. So that in itself is really, really powerful. So it's really good that we do share each other's content, and but we're always looking for opportunities to get outside that bubble. Where I've had a lot of opportunities outside of those viral posts and viral videos to talk to consumers is with mental health. I never thought that our goal when we started to talk about mental health was to talk to other farmers, to help other farmers. But what I learned was mental health was a great way of showing that we are alike in so many other ways outside of the farm and outside of the city. And through mental health conversations, I was able to, to sit down at a table in downtown Montreal and talk to people who had never met a farmer before, and be able to be out in outside of agriculture's boundaries, outside of our bubble, and share, hey, this is what farmers are going through. This is an amazing life that we're proud to be part of. But here are some of the struggles that are happening, and we can all connect through that. Where their struggle might be different, but we connect through that emotion, that pain, the heartache, the struggles. So that has been really endearing and humbling to be part of as well.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point that you just made. Using mental health as a kind of common ground for everybody, because whether you're in agriculture or not, mental health is going to be a big part of society and being just a human being. So the fact that you've kind of been able to use that to, like you said, break the barrier, I think is, first of all, very creative. And I don't think you did it in a way to be creative, but it kind of, like you said, has opened up a whole new group of people now that you're able to share your story with.
Yeah, and I also think it shows that, just by, not everyone has to share their story in a way of like through, their mental health journey,
Right.
like what my husband and I did, but it did what we found out. It shows vulnerability, and people then have the courage to then share their story. And through that, whether inside or outside of agriculture, can connect us too.
Right. And what made you guys kind of sit down and say, hey, we're going to share our story. This is why we're sharing it. What was the thought process behind, we're going to put this out there for everybody?
Yeah. So what happened was, and this was kind of the, where we started the conversations around starting Do More Agriculture. And my girlfriend, a fellow farmer from Saskatchewan, she put out a tweet that said that suicide is real and stress in agriculture is real, and we have to start talking about this. And what we saw, my husband, who isn't on social media as much, but I was keeping him up to date with the conversation, that tweet really exploded, and everyone was saying, yes, we need to talk about it, we need to talk about it. But Matt and I thought, hey, well, no one's still really talking about it. Like, we have to get to the heart of this conversation. So Matt and I thought, we were at a place where we thought that we were alone, that, we weren't good enough farmers, and we were the only ones that had this type of struggle. And but through each other and with our families, were able to get more support and help. But we thought, hey, if we shared what we went through, and that there is hope, and that there is support, and there are resources out there, it might be able to help somebody else. If it just helps one person, then that is worth it. So we did a live video where I talked about having postpartum depression after Copeland was born, and then Matt talked about living with anxiety and panic attacks and the farm stress, and being a son-in-law coming into a family farm and trying to figure out family dynamics and financial pressures, and then building two businesses to overcome financial hardships, and then living away from his family because we were living in the city and he was working at the farm, which was a 2-hour commute. And so all these things impacted him, started having panic attacks. And we were scared though. Like when we sat down, we thought, should we do this, and what are the risks? And that's where we thought, or we came up with, that's the stigma. That's the stigma of not wanting to share because of what people might think, what our friends might think, what will our community think and say? Will this affect our business, our farm? And that's that stigma. So that's when we realized, we need to talk more about this. And so after we did that video, we had an immense amount of feedback and messages and emails and phone calls of people sharing not the same story, but that same heartache, that same pain, that same struggle, the questions. And so we thought, after that, a few of us got together and thought, hey, we need to do something more because our farmers are hurting. And that was a couple years ago. And now with Do More, we are a national organization focused on farmer mental health and bringing awareness and resources and support to our farming community.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just want to commend you guys on sharing your story. I know that couldn't have been, like you said, couldn't have been easy to start with, but I think it's had a very immense impact on the farming community, and just people being aware of it's okay, to share your story, and it's okay to feel like you're going through these things as well, because you're definitely not the only one.
Yeah, we share with our boys even now too. It's not if you go through hard times, it's when you go through hard times. Absolutely. And helping them, or for me, like one of my biggest goals is if they choose to farm, it's knowing that they will have the support and the resources and feel that they can talk about those struggles and those hardships.
Right. Yeah. It's like you said, not if, it's when.
It's when. Yeah.
Yep. With all of that, and this is kind of a weird topic maybe, but especially kind of the difference in the countries between the US and Canada, has there been anything through kind of all of this COVID situation that has made that foundation really kind of important through kind of everybody being separated and all of the stresses that is being added on to the agriculture community? Has anything big kind of happened with that during these crazy times?
Yeah, that's a great question. And as a group, as a team, we thought, wow, like it's, we were at a place where we started 2 years ago to be able to be here during COVID to help farmers. And so what we did is a lot behind the scenes when COVID was happening, we were in lockdown, is develop, and shift our strategies from being more in person. We offer in-person workshops and mental health first aid to then bring that online, and maneuvering through that and offering that. So, and then trying to elevate the conversation, because it's so great to be able to sit down with your friends or at coffee row and talk about the weather and what's going on. But when you don't have that, it's even harder. So trying to facilitate those conversations online, and where we were able to, and then offer webinars online as well. So all of our hard work the past couple of years really helped us be in a place to ramp up our efforts during COVID.
Awesome. Yeah. I think also technology has been great, I think, from a agriculture sense of, spreading the word and everything that farmers and ranchers and agriculturalists do. But like you said, from a mental health standpoint, the ability to be able to hop on a Zoom and talk to somebody from anywhere or utilize resources like that, technology, I think, has been extremely helpful in some regards to all of that.
Yeah, and then for me to even advocate for how we need better technology and better internet services,
Right?
because when we're so like, being rural has its challenges where we might not have the mental health support or services available, and we're isolated as it is. So we need a better internet and better supports to help us through those hard times.
Yeah, absolutely. Even myself, I have to leave one house to come to the other to make sure I have good service for these.
Right? Yeah, and many people in in urban areas might not know that.
Right.
So it's yeah, huge advocate for better internet
Yeah,
service.
rural internet. It's the nail in the coffin for some of these things for sure.
Yes, yeah.
Um, well, Lesley, like I said, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk to me today. But I want to kind of wrap this up by asking you, if you could share something with somebody, whether they're involved in the agriculture community or not, what's kind of a one-liner you might share with somebody to kind of get your points across to them?
Yeah, so I always try to advocate for people because I was at a time, I'm a constant learner where, every day has its challenges, and my life has shifted in many different areas or ways, things that I would never have dreamt of. But for me, it's been, uh, try to be your best version, and you'll get lots of advice and people telling you what to think or what to say or what to do, and carve your path because it's your path, it's the right path. And don't be afraid to show up where you might at times feel like you don't belong. Show up, use your voice because your voice matters. Speak up, and look out for yourself. Put you as number one on your priority list, and look out for your neighbors, because with that, that's where, that's what community is all about, agriculture is all about. And I just try to share my love of farming to those in and outside of agriculture.
Excellent, Lesley. Thank you so much. And where can people find you on social media or website, that kind of thing?
Yeah,
Where can people connect with you?
at High Heels and Canola Fields across social media. And if you're looking for mental health information, you can find that at domore.ag.
Perfect. Lesley, thank you so much. And I hope if people are listening or watching, they have enjoyed this. I know I have a lot of good information, and we will see everybody next week.
Yeah, thank you for having me.